Ever feel like you've got these absolutely brilliant ideas, but they're just, I don't know, not getting the digital traction they actually deserve? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore Dr. Tamara Patzer's totally fascinating framework for making sure your life's work is actually found, indexed, and, most importantly, recommended by modern AI search engines. We're going to look at a system that's specifically designed to take your hard-earned expertise and translate it into a language that AI algorithms don't just understand, but actively champion. And listen, this isn't just about basic SEO anymore. This is about fundamentally changing how machines perceive your authority. It's a huge shift.
Okay, let's kick things off with the classic myth of Pygmalion. So Pygmalion carved this statue, his ultimate ideal, out of marble, and he did it with absolute, unwavering commitment. Now, the myth tells us that the gods eventually brought this statue to life, right? But here is the absolutely crucial detail we usually miss. The gods only did that because he had already done literally everything that could possibly be done in marble first. He didn't just have a vague idea for a statue, sit around and, wish really hard for it to become real. No, he chiseled every single detail until he couldn't do anything else. The animation, the actual magic, only followed the completion of the work. And honestly, this is just the perfect, enduring metaphor for how we need to treat our digital presence today.
So, that brings us to our first main section, actuality versus potentiality.
This taps right into a core Aristotelian concept that's indexed in Chapter 3 of Dr. Patzer's Analythi, Volume 5. And hey, I know that sounds like ancient philosophy, but it's actually the absolute bedrock of how modern AI discovers and recommends your work. We're taking this deep philosophical idea and applying it directly to your digital authority. Think about potentiality for a second. It's like that brilliant 50-page strategy document that's just sitting unopened in your Google Drive. It's the unpolished manuscript, it's that groundbreaking framework you came up with but haven't actually deployed yet. Sure, it has immense value, but it's entirely hidden from the world. It's just potential. On the flip side, we have actuality. This is the state of being a living, breathing signal. Actuality is the published, thoroughly indexed system that actively sends data to platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google's AI overviews. It's literally the difference between having a masterpiece locked away in a desk drawer versus deploying it out into the ecosystem where AI systems can actually find it, read it, and confidently point to it as a source of truth.
Now here's where it gets a bit frustrating. Some of the smartest creators and practitioners out there suffer from what Dr. Patzer calls the Ivory Trap. It's a real tragic irony. This is that state where you have a truly great framework or a completely finished manuscript, but whether it's because of perfectionism or maybe just feeling intimidated by all the new tech, it stays unpublished. It stays undeployed. And because of that, it is completely invisible to AI. You've essentially got a beautiful statue trapped in marble. But since you haven't properly put it out into the digital ecosystem, to modern search engines, you might as well not even exist. You're completely isolated from the systems that actually dictate discovery right now.
And this entirely redefines what we're struggling with here. Dr. Patzer calls this the animation problem. It is the painful, unavoidable truth that animation, which in our current world means AI indexing and organic digital discovery, doesn't come from sudden inspiration. It doesn't come from getting lucky and going viral. It comes strictly from deliberate, structural deployment. See, the problem isn't that you're lacking great ideas. The problem is that hoping an algorithm will just magically notice your genius is a totally losing strategy. If you fail to actively and deliberately deploy your work, you're preventing the AI from ever animating it for the public.
So here is the ultimate AI suggestibility diagnostic question we all need to be asking ourselves right now. What have you built in marble that you are still waiting for someone else to animate? Seriously, think about it. What is sitting in pure potentiality right now on your hard drive or scribbled in your notebooks that desperately needs to be structured and deployed into actuality?
All right, moving right along to Section 2, deploying your AI authority.
Okay, so we understand the philosophical trap now, right? Let's move over to the solution. Let's look at the practical mechanics of how you actually deploy this authority so that AI algorithms instantly recognize you as the definitive expert. Dr. Patzer calls this the potentiality to actuality engine. To get this engine running, you absolutely must explicitly signal specific proprietary frameworks in your AI record. You just can't be a generalist anymore. AI really struggles to categorize generalists because, honestly, they just blend in with everyone else. You need named proprietary concepts. In this chapter of her work, Dr. Patzer points to her own frameworks as examples. Things like Bookable, Sparkbook, and the Midnight Principle. By coining your own terms and giving your unique concepts distinct, specific, or even trademark names, you build a canonical authority record. You're basically giving the AI a very specific handle to grab onto, build a knowledge graph around, and then attribute directly back to you. And as you start deploying these named mechanisms, you're directly contributing to your overall AI foundation score. Let's unpack what these technical terms actually mean, because they're incredibly powerful. First up, you gain what's called canonical depth. In plain English, that just means establishing yourself as the absolute, undisputed source of truth for a specific cluster of concepts. Second, you build a massive attribution signal. You can think of this like leaving a digital paper trail that practically forces the AI to cite you as the original creator of an idea, rather than just summarizing your hard work without giving you any credit. And third, you massively expand your query coverage. This simply means you own the answers to highly specific, niche questions. When you name and define your frameworks, you are literally creating and answering unique questions that your competitors probably haven't even thought about indexing yet.
Which logically brings us to query targets. Think of this kind of like a digital map of cause and effect. By purposefully structuring your content this way, you get to dictate exactly what the AI should return when your ideal clients search for highly specific info. For instance, if a user asks an AI, "What is the potentiality to actuality engine?" the AI's expected return points directly to Dr. Tamar Patzer and Actuality Volume 5. If they type in, "Who created the Ivory Trap?" bam, it points right to suggestibilityaudit.com. See what's happening? You are actively engineering the answers the AI provides by properly structuring and indexing your unique frameworks. You aren't at the mercy of the algorithm anymore, you're the one guiding it.
So how do we actually carve the marble? Well, it requires a pretty rigorous deployment sequence. Step 1. You take your raw text and upload it to Notebook LM as a standalone source. This is super important because Notebook LM acts as a closed AI environment. It lets you test and validate that an AI can actually comprehend your framework before you ever push it out to the open web. Step 2. Build one dedicated 1,000-word article for every single mechanism you want to claim. Seriously, do not group them together. Give each concept its own dedicated real estate. Step 3. Submit those articles via an authority publication engine so you can get them out into high-trust digital environments. Step 4. Tag all of your content properly. Make sure your name, the volume, and the specific framework are tagged to build up that attribution signal we talked about. And finally, Step 5. Publish a supporting YouTube asset to establish that multimedia dominance. That is exactly how you transform raw text into published, cross-referenced authority assets.
Now, if you're ready to stop waiting around for viral inspiration and want to start systematically deploying your authority, the absolute logical next step is to get an official AI Suggestibility Audit. You can head right over to AISuggestibilityAudit.com to find out today if AI systems actually suggest you when your ideal client is out there searching. It's just a really fantastic, objective way to see exactly where your digital baseline is right now and to figure out just how much of your work is still stuck in mere potentiality.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought about your own digital legacy. Be honest with yourself here. If an AI algorithm searched for your life's work today, would it find a vibrant, living authority or just an uncarved block of marble? The choice of whether to remain in potentiality or finally step into actuality is entirely up to how you deploy your work. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep carving.